What's going on, sports fans? I'm back from the oblivion to tell you about piloting the UH-1 Venom in Battlefield 3. Obviously, there are no weapons for the pilot on the Venom. It's considered a troop transport. However, it does have two Gatling guns mounted on either side, one on each, that are available for any of your passengers to take gun runs in. For the most part, Battlefield games are full of people that are sort of not communicating, or at least not really working together, at least to this extent. But if you have a friend who can either pilot or gun, and you can do the opposing task, you can sort of create a little two-man army with the Venom. As you can see right there, what I was doing was switching from the pilot seat to the passenger seat that doesn't have a gun. Right there, you see it. And that's how you repair it. So much like the scout choppers, you can actually repair a chopper and keep it in the air. Now, ideally, you would have a third person who was repairing, or switching between a gun and repairing. But I find that when you get more than two people in a chopper, their allegiances start to shift, and somebody wants to, oh, let me do this now, let me do that, yeah. So, honestly, in my experience, it's best to just do it with two people and have the pilot switch seats and repair himself. So if you're the pilot, you want to rock an engineer. In fact, either class, you want to be an engineer. Now, when it comes to actually acquiring and eliminating targets, you want to let the gunner take the lead in the callouts, because he has the field of view that matters. Now, what I do is I have the gunner sit in the left gun seat, because Battlefield makes the third-person view have a much the third-person view for the helicopters have a much better view of the left side. So if he's in that left, I can actually stare at targets that he's shooting, because the side gun can actually lean pretty far forward, almost directly forward, but not quite. So as you can see there, when I cannot see a target and my passenger isn't exactly telling me what to do, because they're often too busy just shooting, what I'll do is I'll do like a circular, sort of a circular sweeping motion around where I think the target is. And that way it also helps, because usually when enemies are being shot at, they're not just going to sit there and stay in one place. They're going to maneuver and try to get some sort of cover. So if the chopper is already circling like this, and you can see here I'm doing it backwards, you'll often catch them by surprise, where they're expecting the helicopter to just hover. Now it's actually changing its angle, and it's, if you can circle around like that, and once every 2 seconds you'll have all 360-degree angles of the target covered. You can see here a natural takes out a nice Jeep right there. Now you just saw that guy parachute out. One of the problems with flying the Venom is that it is a mobile spawn point. And if your team wants to, they can really mess up a good gun run. They can hop in the passenger seat and not be engineers, and just sit there while you're going down and you're trying to switch to it to repair, and there's somebody in the way. That's happened to me at least twice. But hopefully when they see on the spawn point that the helicopter is actually involved in the game, taking fire and giving it, they won't spawn on it. Or they'll just use it as what that guy just did, which is a mobile spawn point to hop out and affect the ground game. In that situation, I don't mind that at all. As far as having two gunners, one on each side, I think that's kind of detrimental to the overall, success of the helicopter, due to the fact that the pilot will be listening to two call-outs and two different, it's kind of like being a mother and having two babies both sucking your boobs, and you're saying, oh, I want some milk, and the one's like, oh, I want the milk too. And granted, you have two boobs, but it gets a little distracting trying to please all babies. So I prefer just to have one baby on one titty, and I find it works out. Now, when it comes to actually piloting the helicopter for these maneuvers, people always ask me for helicopter tips and, you know, can you help me fly better? And like, I don't know if you can really teach somebody how to fly a helicopter. I mean, as you can see there, what I'm doing is I'm gently tapping the accelerator and just leaning in the direction I want to go. Anywhere you want to go, you just lean. The next video I'm going to show you here is going to be me and Splasher doing essentially the same thing. And here we go. This is in the Katsatka. And as you can see, I'm in the driver's seat, and Splasher is in the left gunner seat. And I'm dead. The guy thinks he's so good shooting me out of there. But anyhow, when it comes to flying a helicopter, you know, R2 is going to make it accelerate, and L2 is going to make it come down. Now you hear what we did here is when I got shot out of the Katsatka, I told Splasher, hey, I'm dead. And he switched to the driver's seat and managed to land it just as I spawned on it. And now, although the helicopter, the attack chopper on the other team did kill the pilot of this helicopter, we were able, through teamwork, to only take one casualty and actually save the helicopter, thus rendering his kill almost completely unimportant to the context of the game. Anyhow, back to flying, piloting. It's really intuitive for me. I don't know, I played a lot of Battlefield 2 on PC and had a lot of failures, but with the actual controller of the PlayStation controller and similarly the Xbox controller, I just think it's pretty easy. It's like flying a plane. What I did when I first got this game is I inverted my heli sticks so that the right stick controls my rotation and the left stick controls my pitch and my roll. I find it's a lot more comfortable for me. Do what you like, but I don't know. For me, when I had the heli sticks defaults, I just couldn't. I was like a, you know, I was horrible. I just didn't know what, everything I did, it didn't work. And as soon as I switched to the heli sticks southpaw or whatever, it just became intuitive for me. So try doing that, see if it doesn't work for you. But basically, you have to understand that, much like driving a boat, any input you give to direction is gonna continue past the point of you letting it go. So you have to sort of pre-think where you want it to go and give yourself leeway for a long over-exaggeration. So if you dip the wings to the left, or dip the, you know, fucking rotors to the left, it's going to continue to go left for quite some time. And if you dip the nose down, you're in the, you know, it's going to be going forward for quite some time. You have to be very afraid of the ground when you're flying a helicopter. Very afraid. There are a lot of people who want to be freaking Johnny Show-Off and they fucking fly these gnarly gun runs down by the ground, and they dip and they wobble and they maneuver and like, yeah dude, and then they hit a pole and they're dead, and they're like, oh man, I'll get him next time. But you know, there's nothing wrong with being safe and being smart and keeping your helicopter up in the air, because the respawn time for the helicopters is greater than it is for any other vehicle. It's 1.5 minutes. So if you drop a helicopter, you know, you got problems getting it back. It's going to be quite some time before you get it back on the field of battle. Now here, Splasher was acquiring a ground target, and on my screen I saw that other helicopter coming at us. And at first it wasn't shooting, so I didn't bother him. But once it started shooting at us, I was like, hey, we got a chopper on our left. I rotated the chopper around so it would fall into his field of view, and then within seconds we took it out. Then I was able to switch to the engineer's repair seat, fix the Katsatka again, and we're back in business. I think he's taken out foot soldier there? And we just got crashed into by a jet. Yeah. I'd like to let him continue working on that sniper, but when you're at low damage, sometimes you just want to prepare. But fortunately, we weren't critically injured, and the life bar on the helicopter wasn't flashing, so once we started, you know, healing back up, I figured, alright, let's go deal death. You don't want to get caught in too defensive a situation where you're repairing and flaring and not dealing death. You want to lean about 60-40 aggressively pursuing kills and defending yourself. Once you're defending yourself more than you're doing kills, you know, more than you're getting kills, you're just letting more people exist on the battlefield that are going to attack you. Uh-oh. And we're dead. So that's about a good time to say, you know, go ahead, go forth, go fly the scout choppers, or the, the transport choppers. It's really fun. It's a different experience. It's really good, sometimes when I have friends that aren't very good at Battlefield, I'll invite them, hey, why don't you come with me and just man the Huey gunner, and when they get a couple kills, they sort of say, hey, maybe this game's not that bad. It's a good way of introducing friends to the game, and it's really fun when you have good communication to take out targets that way. You don't get any real significant points for doing it, but you get a lot of respect, and it's a good way to mix it up and keep this game from growing stale. So, happy hunting. Have a Nagila. Enjoy. Shalom. Allah Akbar. And Happy New Year.